Hey everybody, in this video we're going to go ahead and finish off all the different types of assignments you can create in Google Classroom. Now we already have the other video which hits the assignments, and that's the big one that most people use, but we will talk about the other ones right now. We have Kami, quiz, question material, and reusing posts. This is going to be a long video unlike other ones, so it's broken down by timestamp down below. Click on the section you want to see and be done. First up, Kami. Make sure your Kami extension is installed, and just so you know, we are on the paid version for the 21-22 school year, so that's good. This is still an option for us to be using. Now, the pop-up is pretty self-explanatory, but there are some things that are a little bit different from a Google Classroom assignment, so let's just kind of highlight those. My classes are here, no checkboxes, but if I check on one of them next to it, it adds it up here up on top. Your students tab is still here. Assign it to whoever you want to. The first change comes here with the publish button where the draft is located. Now the draft button was located next to the assign button in Google Classroom, and next to the draft was also the option to schedule it for a future date. That is the first one that has changed. My schedule is now down here. If I click this on, you can see that it brings up a calendar and I could schedule it for a future date. Rounding out the bottom here, I have my topic. Click it, it'll give me all my topics I have, my due date, my points. I click on the points, change it manually. If you click the X, it makes it ungraded. If you accidentally click the X, you could just click on ungraded and your points come back. Coming here to the bottom row, we have the two ways to add attachments. There's your Google Drive attachments and just your regular file attachments, which pretty much going to be a PDF because we're using Kami. The other three things that are new and aren't in the Google Classroom pop-up: feature restrictions, Kami instructions, and links for mobile devices. So let's talk about each one. The feature restrictions. If I click this on, these are all the features that students have to use with Kami. I don't know why anybody would turn these off, but the option is there for you to do so. You can see there's a lot of stuff to kind of toggle around with. Next up, send Kami instructions. Now, these bottom two I have checked on by default, but they won't be, so you would have to check them on manually. The send Kami instructions. Now, I think we did a wonderful job last year of using Kami, as did the entire district, I think. That's why we re-upped it. But it has been a whole summer. Students might not remember how to use Kami, so it won't hurt to click this on to give them instructions on how to use Kami again. And finally, the links for mobile devices. Kami is built into a desktop browser. So if students are using an iPad or a phone, those are mobile browsers, and they don't have the full features of a desktop browser. So clicking that button creates links so that students are able to use Kami features on a mobile device. Once again, an iPad or a phone. And that's your Kami assignment overview. Moving on. Next up, quiz assignments. Make this easy for you guys. Don't do it. Don't use quiz assignments because you can see here it creates a blank quiz. When you get to the point where you're uploading a quiz or a test, there's a pretty good chance you already have this created. So this is going to create a blank quiz that has nothing in it. It's just going to create more garbage in your Google Drive. Now, we talked about this in the other video. If I click add and I go ahead and upload a quiz, Google Classroom is going to recognize that it's a quiz, and this grade importing button and this lock mode, that's going to show up. So you don't have to worry about, well, it's not going to give me the grade importing. Like I showed in the other video, that is going to show up. So don't worry about it. And once again, the lock mode only works on managed devices. So if students bring in their own device, that's not managed by the district. Lock mode is not going to work. So just keep that in mind. So once again, don't use quiz assignments. Next up, question. Now, we talked about question during the asynchronous days or SEL check-ins. All this does is create a question in their stream. They could answer it right away, and it's pretty straightforward. I do highlight, once again, these two check box options here. Students can reply to each other. That's up to you. And students can edit answer. That is checked off by default. because the way this is viewed is you are turning in your assignment and you're not taking it back because you can see all the answers that are coming in. So you don't want them to be able to say, oh man, that's the answer, and click edit answer. Now, if this is an SEL question or something like that, putting the edit answer isn't going to hurt. But once again, those options are there for you. Next up, material. Now, if you notice over here, material is different because there's no due date, there's no point value, because material is just that. It's material for the class. These are usually going to be notes, some sort of resources for the class. I will say this, if you use the material button, please make sure you're using topics because it's easier for students to keep everything organized by topic. That would be my only suggestion when you use material. Other than that, once again, this is just for you uploading resources. And finally, we're using posts. Now, you might not know about this one, but if I click on reuse posts, let me back up here, it pulls up every one of my Google Classrooms I have created, even my archived ones. As long as they're in my classroom still, I haven't deleted them from the archive, and we have a video on that, how to delete them from the archive. As long as they're not deleted, they're going to show up here. And all I have to do is click on one of the classes I want to pull from, find the assignment I want to pull from, and the only option I have here is create new copies of all attachments. That is defaulted to be checked on, and it should be, because if I had some sort of attachment in the original assignment, chances are I want those attachments to come over again. And then all I do is click reuse. And then what's going to pop up is basically the assignments page, just like before, like in the other video. There it is. I have my add-on down here. I have my option to make a copy, just view or edit the file. I have the option to assign it to different students. All the stuff I had before from the other video for an assignment, it's here. Now, the nice thing about this is going to be useful for the teachers that like to have everything sort of same year to year. So if you made an assignment then, you kind of want it to carry over to the next year. This is perfect for you, reusing posts. And let's say I'm a teacher, I teach 3 periods of civics. All I have to do is pull one civics assignment into one of my classes, and then I can assign it to all my other civics classes. So that option is there for you as well. And reusing posts, I don't think teachers really use that much, but I think it's an underused function of Google Classroom. So make sure you check that one out. And that's it. Those are all the other different options you have for creating assignments within Google Classroom. I hope this has been useful for you guys. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.